Let's now talk about the tunnel warfare underway in the Gaza Strip. The battle has gone underground into the notorious tunnels built by Hamas. The Israeli forces have reached deep into Gaza in order to crush the militant group Hamas. They are on the hunt using explosives to destroy this vast tunnel network. The tunnels stretch for hundreds of kilometers beneath Gaza, presenting a unique challenge to the Israeli forces, a challenge that will make the already difficult urban warfare a lot more complex. So what do we know about these tunnels and what challenge do they pose? Let's first understand that this is the next phase in the Israeli offensive. Its ground forces are trying to locate and disable the Hamas tunnels. They say that they have entered the heart of Gaza City, the largest town in the Palestinian enclave and Hamas's main stronghold. According to the chief Israeli military spokesperson, Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari, Israel's Combat Engineering Corps are using explosive devices to destroy the tunnel network. The Israelis believing that the hostages are held up here and they fear that their military operations could endanger these hostages. In fact, the Israeli defense minister has called Gaza the biggest terror base ever built by man.
Gaza is the biggest terrorist base ever built by man. The entire city is one big terror base. There are kilometers of tunnels underground. They connect to hospitals, to schools. They are connected to each other. They have communication rooms, ammunition depots, places to sleep in order to serve as a base of terrorism from which the citizens of the State of Israel and IDF soldiers can be harmed. We are eroding away at this ability. We are advancing and our forces from the north and south are advancing into the heart of Gaza City and operate in combat within the urban area.
Now have a look at this video released by the Israeli army just yesterday. It shows what used to be an amusement park in Gaza, left in ruins following Israeli soldiers' discovery of what they believe to be an entrance to a tunnel linked to Hamas. Another video released by Israeli military purportedly depicting their troops destroying the tunnels in the northern Gaza Strip. The video captures soldiers coordinating an airstrike before inspecting the area. So what lies beneath Gaza? What do we know about this maze of tunnels? This intricate network of tunnels spans hundreds of kilometers, reaching depths of up to 80 meters in some areas. In fact, one former hostage recently freed by Hamas likened it to a spider's web. The Israeli military is saying that many of these Hamas tunnels serve as command centers and house rocket launchers. They are often located close to schools, hospitals, and humanitarian institutions in northern Gaza. And this also reportedly includes the Al-Shifa Hospital in Gaza City, the region's largest medical facility. Reports say that within these tunnels, stockpiles of weapons, food, water, generators, fuel and other equipment are stored. And researchers who have studied these underground structures believe that Hamas's leaders also likely stay here. These tunnels are essentially self-contained, designed for extended conflicts. Israeli forces on the ground are gathering intelligence on this extensive tunnel network, all while avoiding direct entry. Robots and sniffer dogs are being deployed to locate tunnel entrances and inspect the areas inside, paving the way for potential actions by specialist ground troops, including elite commandos from the Yalom unit of the combat engineers. Bulldozers are also being used to dismantle parts of the tunnel entrances due to the suspected presence of Israeli hostages within the tunnels. Operations in the tunnel network are going on cautiously. So what really are Israel's chances of success? Experts noting that there has never been any other military force that has done as much preparatory work on tunnel warfare as the Israeli army. However, there are valid concerns that this operation could be a prolonged one as it involves locating and destroying the tunnels, especially in a way that prevents Hamas from using them again. Headlines in Portugal's media on Wednesday reflected the shock triggered by the resignation of the Prime Minister, Antonio Costa. Costa has stepped down amid an investigation into alleged irregularities committed by his majority socialist administration in handling lithium mining and hydrogen projects in the country.
Para eles não há problema nenhum, que não são eles que pagam a fatura. Quem vai pagar a fatura é o contribuinte, para eles está tudo bem. Portanto, agora os outros partidos não vão querer que seja outra pessoa do PS a ser Primeiro-Ministro, que é para ir em eleições, andarmos aqui mais numa palhaçada e pronto, e sermos nós depois a seguir os contribuintes a pagar a fatura.
Announcing the decision in a televised statement after meeting the president, Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa, Costa said that his conscience was clear, but he would not stand as candidate for premiership again. This is what he said.
Candidatar ao cargo de Primeiro-Ministro, isso fica muito claro. É evidente que esta é uma etapa da vida que se encerrou.
Further denying involvement in the scandal, Costa said he was fully available to cooperate with the justice system, tearing up while thanking his family for their support through the years.
Por fim, uma palavra muito sentida de agradecimento à minha família, muito em especial à minha mulher, por todo o apoio, todo o carinho e os muitos sacrifícios pessoais que passou ao longo destes 8 anos. Esta é uma etapa da vida que se encerra e que encerro com a cabeça erguida, a consciência tranquila e a mesma determinação de servir Portugal e os portugueses exatamente da mesma forma como no dia em que aqui entrei pela primeira vez como Primeiro-Ministro.
The news naturally has left people shocked.
Bem, acho que na verdade ninguém estava à espera do que aconteceu, mas na realidade penso que António Costa até reagiu bem, ter-se demitido e que agora veremos quem é que vai para o seu lugar e como é que corre.
The instability that the move brings with it is the immediate concern. People say the resignation will just make the current situation worse.
Toda a situação financeira e económica que se vive em Portugal, todas as dificuldades que as pessoas sentem no seu dia-a-dia, e agora vê-se um governo cair, e isso creio que vai acrescentar muita insegurança às pessoas. Se bem que o governo em si não nos garantisse e não nos desse segurança, porque nós todos os dias lidamos com muitas situações diferentes e desagradáveis, porque infelizmente há muita gente a passar muito mal neste país, e agora de repente o governo cai, eu penso que vai agravar toda a situação e toda a insegurança que as pessoas sentem.
The political crisis unfolded in the country after prosecutors published a statement detailing searches in more than 40 different premises as part of the inquiry. The Department of Criminal Investigation and Action confirming that the addresses searched included spaces used by the head of the Prime Minister's office, the 2 ministries and the Senes Town Council. Citing flight risk and the possibility that illegal activities could continue, prosecutors then issued arrest warrants for Costa's chief of staff, the mayor of Senes and 2 executives at Start campus, and added that Portugal's infrastructure minister had also been indicted as part of the investigation. But let's just take you back to where it all started. In May 2022, the Portuguese Agency for the Protection of the Environment approved a mining project for lithium. And with the success of the first, a second project was given the green light at the start of September last year. But in December 2022, Portugal's infrastructure and housing minister was forced to quit amid the outcry over a €500,000 compensation payment made to a board member of the state-owned flag carrier TAP Air Portugal. And after that, a total of 10 senior government officials left their jobs since Costa's party won the 2022 ballot. And while Portugal's lithium mines and green hydrogen projects are part of the continent's green initiative being pushed and heavily funded by the European Union, Costa has been a major backer of the projects and an ally of Spain's acting Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez. But now, after Costa's sudden resignation, It will be interesting to see how some of these projects and long-term government plans involving the EU funds will pan out. On the other hand, while the European Union is keen to reduce its dependence on mines in China, Africa and South America for lithium, Costa's resignation has left Portugal in a precipice, calling for the immediate cancellation of all lithium projects. Has the British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak sunk? That's the word being used for him, sunk. Are his days at number 10 numbered? Is he already looking for a new job? What makes me ask these questions? Let me break it all down for you. On Thursday, in London's Lancaster House, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak interviewed business tycoon Elon Musk. Yes, a Prime Minister interviewed an industrialist, not the other way around. The very fact that such a thing happened has made Sunak an object of ridicule. He has become a laughing stock. The billionaire clearly overshadowed Sunak's AI safety summit. The British Prime Minister heaped praise on Musk, even called him a brilliant innovator and scientist. At the end of the conversation, Sunak said it had been a huge privilege to host Elon Musk. Again, who is the leader of the country there? Why was Sunak indulging in such flattery? Is he really that desperate? Is Rishi Sunak trying to secure a job when he exits 10 Downing Street? His love-in with Musk seemed nothing less than a job application. Sunak's role model appears to be Nick Clegg. Clegg served as the British Deputy Prime Minister till 2015. And now he's the President of Global Affairs at Meta. You see, the formula seems to be simple. Take a licking at the polls and start again with the tech bros on the West Coast. Is that what Rishi Sunak really plans to do? Seeing the situation in the UK, the day might not be that far away. Britons just seem to have had enough. The new session of the British Parliament has started. Yesterday, the King delivered his first speech. King Charles was speaking, but the words belonged to British ministers. The speech was the longest since 2005, but it had the fewest number of bills. Even King Charles appeared to be bored. What hope do the rest of the Britons really have? It's almost like Sunak had compiled a checklist to limit Tory electoral losses next year. When polled, 73% Britons had said they wanted harsher sentences for those who broke the law. So the Prime Minister decided to deliver. Sunak proposed 5 law and order bills. He promised tougher sentences for criminals. Laughing gas has now become a Class C drug. Those found in possession could face 2 years in jail, and those found producing or supplying it would be sentenced to 14 years. Harsher laws, longer sentences, all that is well and good. But what really is Sunak going to do with the critical overcrowding in the British prisons? What about the backlog in the courts? How is the Prime Minister going to tackle all of that? It's as if Sunak knows he will not be around to be called to account. The rest of the speech was lackluster, to say the least, and Sunak's only long-term announcement was to ban all cigarettes for an under-14 smoke-free generation. The Prime Minister had half-heartedly suggested a brighter future, but nothing in that speech offered any hope for that. There were no ideas for planning reforms or social care provisions, nothing about the National Health Service, nature restoration, universities or immigration. The new reign was supposed to be the golden Sunak age. At least Sunak hoped that he would be the so-called change candidate. He has offered his share of promises for a better future, and he has received his share of mockery for it as well. Most recently, during an interview for a BBC Radio 4 program, Rishi Sunak claimed only he can change the country. Doesn't matter that the Tories have been in power for 13 years. But the host was quick to tell Sunak that he has a brass neck. But actually, Sunak seems to have given up. At least that is what his actions seem to be suggesting, if not his words. After Sunak met ministers for informal drinks at 10 Downing Street, one of his own ministers, in fact, said that it felt like Sunak had already checked out and is simply looking forward to a few foreign sightseeing trips. That is what the reports are saying. The COVID-19 inquiry has been hearing evidence about Sunak's time as Chancellor. Back then, his nickname was Dr. Death. And why not? It was he, after all. It was him who prioritized handing out economic goodies over saving lives. And now he is being called sunk. His government seems to be sinking. The UK continues to grapple with spiraling grocery and heating bills, higher mortgages, crumbling school infrastructure, and the Prime Minister is out conducting fancy interviews, desperate to secure a job as he messes up the current one.